welcome back to Talk That Talk with Mish and Jay. It's just Mish today. Jeez, it's just Mish. What's up, y'all? So I'm coming to give y'all this update on what's going on with the Diddy trial. I'm trying to get y'all some shit early because I know every day is going to be something new every single day. And I know today is the third day of the trial. Cassie Ventura's been a witness or whatever. There's also been two other witnesses prior to her, which is Israel Flores, which is the cop that witnessed the infamous Cassie beating. You already know Diddy kind of did her in. People were saying that, of course, this happened because she tried to take his phone. Other people were saying that, oh, she tried to take his money, but really she was trying to get away from a freak off or whatever, right? And then the second witness is Daniel Phillips, and he was actually called by Cassie. I'm sure Diddy put her up to it, but he was called and hired by Cassie to with Diddy's money. He came there assuming that he was going to be a stripper for a bachelorette party or whatnot. And it just ended up being Diddy and Cassie. Here's what I gather from all of this, y'all. Please, please, please look, me and Jay, our goal is 1,000 subscribers. So if you could please like, sub right now, we would appreciate it, right? Because I'm jumping straight into this. All right, so here's what I'm seeing so far, and I'm going to summarize. I'm not going super deep into this, but I do really have a real opinion about what I've heard so far. I'm very much so into law. Okay, so this is interesting. So from what I'm seeing from the prosecution, they are coming in with a bang, like everybody is saying. You know, they're trying to paint Diddy as horribly as they can. You know, showing like they're building up their case for the racketeering and the ex-trafficking.
Prosecution, Cassie Ventura didn't feel she had much of a choice but to participate in Sean Combs' freak-off, she testified. Ventura, who described herself as naive and a total people-pleaser, feared making him angry or uncomfortable with a rejection. Combs controlled much of her life, she said. Later, Ventura feared that she would be blackmailed with videos and images of her participation in the freak-offs, as well as threatened with violence. He had many resources to spread those images on the internet, she said.
Right? They are. They're doing their best. They're trying to let you know that, hey, yes, Cassie's, her mouth, she was urinated in her mouth. Okay? This young lady was forced and drugged to do the things that he wanted her to do. And I think that that's important, right? And then on the defense side, they're trying to paint this as a consensual love affair. It was toxic. It was a lot of jealousy. He beat on her. She beat on him, you know, but she wanted this, right? When it comes down to like the whole Daniel Phillip part. So I'm going to skip Israel Flores for a second because honestly, that situation was a dud. To be honest, y'all, like when I listened to that whole Israel Flores situation, like the defense really got him when they cross-examined him. It really looked like he was looking out for his own self-interest in that situation. His records, like what he was supposed to record down at the time when things went down, he did not do what he was supposed to do. He recorded the wrong things. Oh, or just lighten things up in the paperwork, in the record. So now that the courts are pulling these records, they're like, hold up, you're saying one thing now because you're in the court, but on your records, you're saying another thing. So it didn't make him look good. And he did procure a whole hell of a lot of money for doing what he did and trying to hide and protect Diddy. You know, he basically did him a favor and he definitely looked bad. Okay. So now when we jump to this Daniel Phillips guy, Daniel Phillips is the stripper or whatever. It sounds like, you know, they got something there because he does show that they were really enjoying themselves, you know, so they weren't denying that, hey, yeah, we like the little freak shit. You know, we want to do our little freaky stuff or whatever. And I came there and Diddy constructed me and told me he wanted me to, you know, do intercourse with her and, you know, and do the things he wanted me to do, be freaky. And he would sit there on the side with his face covered and a hat on and he would, you know, spank his monkey. He would, you know, jacket on off, which I feel like is pretty interesting, y'all. But whatever, we already know he a voyeur and a freak, okay? So in reality, it sounded like, though, that they became close. He said that he did this several times, receiving money from 600, I think between $600 and $7,000. I believe that's how much it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, $700 and $6,000. So between those amounts. but they were mostly always on drugs when they did it. He also directed him to come or to release himself. I probably shouldn't say the actual word, release himself inside of Cassie. I'm not sure why this is the case, because what if she got pregnant? Maybe she was on birth control. Maybe Diddy had her on birth control, because as we all know, he had control of her medical records and things like that. So he could have put her on birth control knowing that, he wants her to participate in these freak-offs, right? So these freak-offs, this Daniel Phillips, he's just one of the, I'm sure they'll have plenty more, but he's just one of the people who got kind of tricked into a freak-off. Now, was he mad when he seen Cassie? Absolutely not. He said when he seen her, she was dressed up. She had a red wig on. She had lingerie, and she paid him his money, and they smashed. And there were times that I heard mention that she called him, and even after Diddy was gone, she chose to smash him on her own. So I feel like, after sleeping with this person so many times, there was some comfort there between her and this Phillip dude, which is, I feel like the defense was trying to poke at that, because they were feeling like maybe this Phillip guy's only like being a witness right now because they feel like he is trying to get back at Diddy for some reason, because he maybe fell for Cassie amongst this whole thing. And there was the time where he said he couldn't even get hard anymore. Like, I think there was a time he was enjoying it, but once Diddy starts getting really, really, truly upset with her, because maybe he'll call her name and she wouldn't come immediately, he smack her up, tell her, hey, you come when I call you. You see what I'm saying? So things started getting violent and abusive, and he started witnessing it. And I think this didn't sit right with him, this Daniel guy, right? I'm not sure, but I think when Cassie came up on the stand, and she's pregnant, and there was a whole thing about her being pregnant, y'all. So they wanted her not to walk in front of the jury as a pregnant person, because they felt that they would feel sorry for her, which the judge kind of strike that down, which I don't blame them. I mean, her current situation is her current situation. People understand that, But here's the point I want to make. What I'm observing through all of this is that I feel like Cassie was a frog put in lukewarm water, and slowly the temperature just kept being cranked up on her. Because as she starts speaking about how their relationship started, it started innocent. It started with her just, having stars in her eyes, stardom, just wanting to be famous. She had a voice, she had an opportunity. She actually was, I heard she was going international. She was out Germany, and her song was blowing up. Me and You, that song, she was blowing up. So when he discovered her, or when he came and got her, he like, I'm coming to get you. He set his eyes on her, just like he set his eyes on Kim Porter, and decided that you're mine. And unfortunately, with a person with a sick mind like Diddy, when he decides that you're mine, you're just his. You see what I'm saying? So I think it's ridiculous that she was pushed into this sex work job. And a lot of people not looking at it like that, but I think that, yeah, at some point, was she just sitting in it? Absolutely. Why? Because she signed a 10-album deal. She was a prisoner. Where she was going to go? What money did she really have? I mean, eventually she had the money, but what money did she really have to sue her way out of that 10-album contract? And did he only allow her to record one album? After that, they said she had to smash 4 times a week. 4 times out the week for 4 days straight, or 10 hours straight. That's a lot of fucking, y'all. I mean, that is a lot of damn. I mean, come on now. I mean, she had to been dry. Okay, that's what all that baby oil, that lube for. You see what I'm saying? Like, people had to been on Cialis. And I know they was on drugs. They said they was on ecstasy. Also, she was getting drugged too. With the Gatorade and stuff. They was putting drugs in her Gatorade and things like that. And so she was slowly being cooked to a boil. So I'm sure how they met, he kissed her, which means he forced himself on her, and she didn't know what to think. But I think at that moment, she doesn't know anything about him. She's not trying to make assumptions. She just wants to understand that, hey, this is actually the guy who's going to make me famous. So, I mean, gosh, who wouldn't want like a guy of his stature kissing on you? So she probably tricked herself and convinced herself that it wasn't a wrong thing, like, okay, he wants me, like, out of all the women, and she did believe that they were monogamous. So she felt that they were, although Diddy did not actually come out the public, even though it got leaked out in public. I think people knew that they were dating. She was around them for 10 years, especially after Kim Porter passed away, unfortunately. And we all kind of know what might have happened to her. But I think at this point, she was just trying to like survive this situation, especially with his stature, knowing he's jealous. He'll do what he want to do. He'll keep, he every time she tries to probably refute him, tell him no, it turns violent. Like she said on the stand, if he would hit her and she would go down, he would stomp on her head. He would stomp her, kick her out, So, I mean, she endured years and years of that abuse. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't she leave? She should have just left. You can't just leave when you're under a contract, and you can't just leave when you're in this industry, because now all he has to do is make one call, destroy your life. And then if she know anything about some of the alleged circumstances that he put other people in behind them writing books or not doing something he wanted them to do, people ending up in hospitals and cars getting blown up. Like if she knew anything about these things, that also could have played a part in the reason why she was being super careful. Like even the Daniel Phillip guy on the stand was just like, yeah, well, I was afraid. To be honest, he had my ID, he had my address. So we can tell Diddy like had all his stuff covered, and then even when she did try to get away from Diddy, he would send this Christina Coram lady to go get her, and other people who was on his team to go get her. You see what I'm saying? And so, I mean, that just tells you right there, it's giving pimp. So I think that even though she started out as an artist, he would have much rather used her for his actual pleasures. And while he didn't see anything wrong with what he was doing, it was plenty wrong with that. Now, whether this is going to translate into racketeering and sex trafficking, I don't know. Because right now, the argument of the defense is domestic violence has nothing to do with what you guys have him in court for. You guys have him in court for domestic violence. Y'all talking about domestic violence right now. Y'all not talking about ex trafficking. Here's what the ex trafficking does come in at, you guys. The ex trafficking comes in at where Cassie is being dragged and being told she can't go somewhere. He's holding her hostage, holding her against her will. So if they can continue to prove that there were several times that she tried to get away and he snatched her back, that he kept her locked up somewhere in a room, that he forcibly made her travel here or there, and not just her. I'm sure there are other people. I mean, this is an 8-week long case, so it's going to be a whole lot of witnesses. Especially, I pray that the prosecution actually has like some hard hitting witnesses other than Cassie, but they had to get her in early because she's really, really pregnant right now, so I pray that everything just goes well in that situation. So yeah, I mean, I want to keep up with this. So far, it sounds like Cassie's doing really well on the stand. They're just asking her basic normal questions about how she met him and where she lived. She did pay for her own place at some point so she could have some control. I think that one, I forgot where that place was. I think it was out either LA or something. Because I think the place in New York was Diddy's and he was paying her that. And he had his own key. So, he had her under watch 24/7. Like you could tell he's a very possessive man, a very like straightforward, like, yeah, you mine. And anybody that belongs to me belongs to me. And yet again, the last episode me and Jay talked about, she tried to date people like Michael B. Jordan, like Kid Cudi, and maybe others that he's threatened and said, hey, nah, that's mine. Even though they might have broke up, took a break while he dating other females, smashing and adding them to freak offs as well. So Cassie wasn't the only one being a part of freak offs. So do I believe that, yeah, with him having such heavy involvement in having all these drugs and also having to have these freak offs as often as he does, it had to be an operation. So now it's just about getting the witnesses up there to prove that, yes, he shipped people in. Yes, he forced these people to participate, even if they didn't want to. Because I think just because you don't blatantly outright tell somebody, hey, yeah, go ahead and participate in this freak off for me or whatever, it's not going to be that bad. No, you get them to trust you. You ease them into the bullshit. And I feel like that's what happened to Cassie. So I feel like Cassie just ended up in a 10-year contract of being a what? Ex-worker. She was an ex-worker, no different from the Daniel Phillip dude that got hired, no different from Jonathan Odie, okay? No different from anybody else who he brought around, who he made sure they had to participate in these freak-offs. They were all there for his pleasure. That's what he wanted them there for, okay? So I hate when people say that, oh, she wanted it. Like, yeah, sure, she asked for the guy to pee in her mouth. Y'all, look, if she was under the influence, who knows? Cause whatever, ecstasy, that's to make you freaky. Okay. Then I'm hearing they was talking about, telling him how he pee on her. Like, don't pee straight up on me. Just trickle a little pee here and there. What kind of golden shower? Like, I'm confused. I'm so confused with that bullshit. But hey, it is what it is. I'm just stating my opinion right now on this. From the back end, from what I'm hearing so far, the defense, I don't think they're going to win. Do I think if they can get more people to come up there and prove that they allow Diddy to scare them into doing things for their own benefit, for their protection, like this Israel Flores. I mean, yet again, he accepted money. So he told him, don't tell nobody, don't let nobody know about this. Well, if you getting $100,000 to not tell nobody, that's exactly what you're going to do. You not going to tell nobody. Okay, so yeah, he lied in the beginning because he didn't know what to expect. Now, hey, if they can get more people to do that, then I can see, how this could be a really close call. But I don't see these women. I don't know about the men, but I don't see these women sitting on the jury saying, oh, it's all good that, Cassie got a black eye here and there. She's getting kicked and forced and told to do things, like she's being directed. She's really being held to this. I don't know what woman. I mean, to be honest, she had to be under the influence. I don't know what woman, to be honest, wants to keep getting stabbed 24/7. Like, not stabbed, physically. Y'all know what I mean. Intercourse from the back, from the front. What about her cycle? He had to have her on some kind of birth control. So that's a question that I would ask if I was there. Like, did he make you get on any type of birth control or something? Because, I mean, come on. Like, what about days where you on your cycle? Like, you cramping? There's times where women really don't feel good. How is she possibly upholding this quota, okay, of 4 days or 10 hours of sex? Absolutely not. That shit is ridiculous. And then need to recover after that. IVs and shit. So she ain't had time to even do nothing but just be his ex-slave. And that's exactly what she was. And I'm calling it how I see it. Outside of that, y'all, I'm about to be out of here. So far, that's what I got for y'all from what I'm understanding what the case is. Me and Jay will be recording tomorrow. I'll see what new comes out or whatever the rest of the day brings, and I'll bring y'all some more information. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments how you feel about what's going to happen with the Diddy case so far. What side do you think is winning? The defense, the prosecution? Please let me know. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers, y'all. So please, please, please give us some subs. I love y'all. This is Mish, and I'm out. Peace.